come to this happy place, welcome.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por
We
favor,
invite you, if
manténganse
you
alejados
dare,
de las
to
This here's
visit
a
tonight's
wild
episode
ride in the
of
wilderness.
Where Hinges Elevated Travel Doorless Changes.
Hello and welcome to Miles from Main Street, your Far From Disney podcast. My name is Mikhailo,
And I'm Brian,
and we're here to talk about Disney World,
but especially coping away from Disney.
which we know a lot about being from the Midwest. Here at Miles from Main Street, our preferred travel agency is Magical Vacations by Kimberly. Kimberly is a Disney expert and can handle all of your Disney planning needs. She can also plan Universal and all major cruise lines. Contact Kimberly at magicalvacationsbykimberly@yahoo.com.
And find her on Facebook and Instagram under Magical Vacations by Kimberly.
So today on Miles from Main Street, we are talking about dining. Probably one of my favorite things to talk about. And it's slowly kind of become something pretty important to my Disney going experience. But I just love getting some dining reservations and going and enjoying some Disney food. But we're going to talk about some of our favorites and then some spots that we haven't really talked about yet on the podcast. And we do tend to talk about dining. I know Brian and I are kind of foodies when it comes to that. And I mean, how can you not be when you're going to Disney with all this amazing food? But we're gonna give a couple of our top places that we've been and try to give you a little bit of insight into what it's like going to these places.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun conversation. We have talked about food a lot, and we've also told you that the food down there is really, really good. They do have some of the best world-class, most famous chefs names down there. But also, if there's a cuisine you want to try, you can find it there and give it a shot. And Disney makes it accessible. So give it a chance. And maybe in our conversation today, you'll find something new that you need to go try.
For sure. So I'll go first. I'm going to start with a sit-down restaurant that I really haven't talked about at all on the podcast. And it's one that I've gone to once, and it was actually one of the first real fancy Disney dining experiences that I've had, but it's just so great and such a cool experience to have. And that is the Tap and Edo. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. In Japan at Epcot. And basically what this is it's a like they make the food in front of you. I can't remember what that word is.
Hibachi.
Yes. It's a hibachi grill. They'll make the food in front of you. It's a lot of that like typical Japanese cuisine, but they do a really good job. They definitely put on a show. They do some really impressive things there. And just being able to go up in that Japan pavilion up top in that house that they have there, that giant building, is always really cool. Just kind of like going up the steps and getting into that restaurant is a lot of fun. I have to say that was one of the, if you're new to Disney and you've never done dining reservations and you go to Disney, you're going to find out pretty quick that you need reservations for a lot of these places. And so this was one that I think it was like a couple before I went there. It was a couple vacations before that, like we tried to get in there, and my family we walked up to the little station they have there. We were just like, hey, we'd like to eat here. They're like, do you have a reservation? And we were like, no. And they were like, oh, you're going to need a reservation. So we found out pretty quick that you're going to need to make reservations for these places. So the time that we went there, I actually made a reservation, and we were able to get in, and it was a lot of fun. It was very cool getting in there and being able to sit down and having them put on a show for you, because that's a lot of like what hibachi is, and they're doing that for you. And again, it's just a lot of really great food. They have a lot of really cool. I think this was like one of the first times I ever actually had hibachi. So, um, but it's pretty typical of like all of the other places that I've been to. But I mean, it's Disney, so it's so cool to be in Japan and go and experience that and kind of have it mean a little bit more because you're in Epcot and you're watching these people throw all these knives and everything. It's nuts. Very cool. But it meant a lot that it was one of the first times I ever got to go and like sit down at a really fancy restaurant. So there's that. If we're talking favorites, right now I'd say my favorite top of the list right now is Be Our Guest, just with the theming and the food and everything. I've talked about that already. Another pretty high one on my list would have to be Skipper Canteen. However, that's almost purely based on theming, because I did not so much enjoy the food I had when I was there, which is, I think it's just a miss on my part. But then again, I ordered Tastes Like Chicken. I don't think that's the full name, but that's, I mean, I ordered chicken, so it should be pretty decent. And I just didn't, I don't know if it was like the teriyaki sauce they had with it, but I just wasn't really into it. But that just tells you what you need to know about Skipper Canteen, is that just the theming alone and that whole area. And I think it's a decent sit down restaurant that's in Magic Kingdom, and you don't find that often. And it's in one of my favorite lands, and so that kind of makes it a little higher up on my list than other things would be. But those are some of the big ones that I enjoy. Brian, what about you for sit down restaurants?
Yeah, for sit down restaurants, this is a hard one for me because I've been to a few and I've pretty much loved all of them. And I keep thinking of more as we keep sitting here talking. And I'm gonna have to go with Ohana. And it's kind of cliche. Now, I have never done that for dinner though. I've been there twice for breakfast, and I'll tell you, the just being able to sit in that big room and watch across the lake, and see the castle, and watch the characters going by. They'll do a little parade at some point, and of course this is in the before times, and hopefully we'll get that back quickly here. But Ohana is a lot of fun, and the kids love it. The families have a great time. It's a family style meal, and they kind of bring you this great big skillet of food, breakfast items, sausage, bacon, eggs, Mickey waffles. And I think my son put down 11 Mickey waffles that morning, which is crazy. And they have these really cool potato wedges that they also serve with it. And you start with their pineapple bread. The only thing you don't get at breakfast is the bread pudding. So I have yet to have the bread pudding. So if you get a chance, Tambu Lounge right next door, just outside of Ohana, will have the bread pudding there if you just want to try that, which I haven't done it yet. Got to do that. But yeah, Ohana is a great place to go and have food. They do a kind of like the Brazilian steakhouse type of deal at night, but it's more of that Polynesian flair. So they've got chicken wings, they've got shrimp, and I think there's a steak tenderloin or something. And they'll bring it out on skewers. And there's noodles and some rice and some bread and deliciousness all around. And you can sit there and eat forever if you want. And you're also in, again, before times, they always had big long tables, and you were sitting with whoever was at the table with you, which I find interesting and fun because you never know who you might meet. And hopefully the people sitting next to you are willing to talk, because I'm going to talk to you. So, but yeah, I love going to Ohana. I tell people to go to Ohana every time anyone that comes to me asking what they should do. It's located in the Polynesian Resort, And again, it's a reservation you're going to need to get, and it's a hard one to get. So you need to be online, whatever the day is, 60 days, 180 days, whatever they end up it being. Right now it's 60 days. So yeah, make sure you get to Ohana because you're gonna love it. It's a lot of fun. So other than that, like I said, I've got all these places now running through my head. Yak and Yeti, I think I've mentioned in the past, is wonderful. The other one is Via Napoli. You were talking about reservation. That was the one time we walked up to a place and got in like minutes. It was pretty awesome. My wife basically was, I'm hungry, let's go eat there. And we walked in. I said, there's no way. And we walk up and they said, oh yeah, 20 minutes. She stayed there to make sure that our table didn't get taken because you had to be right there when they called you. And so she stayed there, and I walked out and I got to the center of the pavilion, kind of where that like stepped up area in the Italy pavilion is. I kind of got to that point, and she was buzzing me on my phone, hey, table's ready. Like, it was that quick. Like, wow. Come on. So the pizza there is amazing. And that's where they bring the water in from Pittsburgh to make it like pizza dough you might get from Italy. So if you want pizza in Disney World, I would say that is the only place you should be getting pizza. Pretty much everywhere else. And now I had it at the resort. It wasn't bad, but I don't know. Disney doesn't do pizza very well otherwise. So yeah, that would be my, honorable mentions, I guess, for sit down places.
So you telling me that Pizza Rizzo isn't the best pizza on property?
Oh, that pillowy dough pizza, you can get that anywhere. They've got that all over the place. It's okay. Typically flavorless, if that's how you like your pizza. Now that's not to say the Pizza Rizzo doesn't have good items. I've heard people, I haven't been in there since it's been Pizza Rizzo. I was in there when it was Pizza Planet. And we had a decent meal. I didn't care for the pizza, but the other things they had were good. And I've seen people get some of the treats that they'll have, and that looks pretty good. So I think everywhere at Disney World is worth a try. It's a matter of finding what they do well at those places.
For sure. Yeah, I would totally agree. And Brian, I'm doing the same thing where like all of a sudden I'm thinking about all these other places. Mama Melrose, right around the corner from Pizza Rizzo, was an amazing experience as well. And that's just a testament to just how many places there are to actually eat at Disney, and how things can range, because I've had some of the best meals I've ever had at Disney, and I've had some wildly mediocre meals at Disney, kind of trending into bad, where I've been like, oh my God, what is this? But that's the thing. I mean, they just got so many, and they can't all be winners. But being honest, most of them are. Most of them are pretty darn good.
Yeah, and it seems when you're talking about restaurants online with people, you're going to find people that love that restaurant, no matter how many people are going, no, do not go there. Someone's going to enjoy it. I went to Tony's Town Square on my honeymoon, and it was one of our favorite places, and it was, it has great memories. I haven't been back because people say it's terrible now. But I was just reading recently, a lot of people saying, hey, we had a great time. We loved it. We enjoyed it. It's all a matter of what your tastes are and finding what that restaurant does well.
And this actually can be seen in most things with Disney. Some people swear by the All-Star resorts. I enjoy the All-Stars. I wouldn't swear by them. But I'm definitely one of the ones that, like, if you shack me up at an all-star resort, I'll be happy. And then there are people out there that will never stay at an all-star resort just because they want if they're going to go to Disney, they kind of want to go all out. And I get that. I kind of get both sides where it's like these resorts are fun and whimsical and like really good for kids. And I enjoy them just because that's kind of how I grew up. I grew up going to the All Stars. I also enjoy going to nicer things like contemporary and stuff like that. But I mean, everybody kind of has their preferences. And you'll find that a lot with Disney. They give you a lot of choices, and so people will choose some of these things to love, even though like maybe you might think they're not as good or anything like that. So yeah, you see that a lot with things at Disney where like they have a cult following, and maybe you might not understand why people like them so much, but I would say just kind of give almost everything a try because it's Disney. Like you're not going to go too wrong with most of the things that you're doing at Disney.
Right. So I think we've covered sit downs pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking for a quick service?
So quick service, Brian and I had a conversation before this, and I was telling him which quick service is my favorite. And a lot of this kind of comes down to how your vacation shakes out. There are some quick service restaurants that you can go to and get a really nice meal, and it'll rival sit down restaurants, like just how great the food is. And I would say the place that I picked could be that way, but it's kind of, it's not basic. It's just things that you could find somewhere else. And that's the Lotus Blossom Cafe in Japan. And I get it. It's in China. Sorry. Lotus Blossom in China. And I get it. You can get Chinese food pretty much anywhere. I can go probably like 3 steps out my door and go get Chinese food. But I don't know, it was something about the experience that I had at Disney that day and in China. It was really easy to order. And this wasn't even during COVID. This was a normal vacation. I think this was a summer vacation. Maybe it wasn't. No, it was Christmas. Yeah, we were there. This was the day after Christmas Day. So it was busy. Like it was like decently busy that day. And we were able to just kind of walk up and like easily order our food and pick up our food. We did not wait very long. And then we ended up at Lotus Blossom. They actually have like outdoor seating, like seating outside of the restaurant. And so we were able to kind of like grab our food and our trays and sit outside and kind of like look into the pavilion. And I don't know if it was something about like seeing the pavilion lit up at night and everything like that. It was just such a great experience. And then the food was really good. Eating that food. I mean, it's Chinese food. So I mean, it's like not, it's kind of basic, like you can find it anywhere, but it's like I enjoyed it. I enjoyed, obviously, because my 2 tops it was 2 Asian restaurants. But I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the whole situation of everything, and being able to get there, get food really easily, and sit down. I really enjoyed it. And people have said before that, like, I mean, you can go into Nine Dragons and almost get the same food that they're selling out there at Lotus Blossom. So I thought that was really cool, just kind of like being very free. And that's another thing about quick service restaurants is it's very freeing of like going and picking up your food and then going kind of wherever you want to go. They usually have seating for you somewhere, if not inside or outside, but you can kind of go pick up your food and do whatever you want with it. If you want to go eat somewhere else or kind of like pick and choose. But I thought that was very cool, where I was able to go out and enjoy the pavilion while I was eating. We were also kind of up on a high at that point because our vacation was like just starting to get good that day. So that might be a little bit of it too. But that was one that really stuck in my head, that I had a really great time, and I really enjoyed it. And I would do it again a million more times.
I've eaten at a lot of great quick services at Disney. And it's hard for me to pinpoint one. Have we talked about Satuli Canteen? I don't know that we have.
I feel like we've talked in passing a lot about it, where we've kind of been like, oh, well, this is good there, this is good there, but we've never really kind of gone in depth with it at all.
So Satuli Canteen is in Pandora, and it, like, when I saw it when they first opened and I saw what they were doing, it was create your own bowls. It's still create your own bowls, right?
Mhm.
And that completely turned me off. I was like, oh, like, make me a dish, make me something, well,
Mhm.
why do I have to create my own? But I went and ate there, and my wife and I split something, and my daughter got another bowl for herself, and then the other two kids got kids meals. They got the cheeseburger pods. The cheeseburger pods are really cool. They're pretty tasty. I don't see the craziness, like the lure that everyone has over it. I know there are a lot of people that just love them. I don't know that I'm at that level, but they're fun. They're tasty.
If I could interject on this, because I actually really do enjoy the cheeseburger pods. And Brian isn't mentioning something that a lot of other people have mentioned, and I believe this as well. But the cheeseburger pods actually taste like McDonald's hamburgers. I don't know if you've noticed that.
But why is that? Why is that a good thing?
Good point. um,
And that's why I don't mention it. Like, I thought they were tasty. I didn't catch the I guess the similarity.
Mhm.
But I know a lot of people say that, and that's great. If I want a cheeseburger from McDonald's, I guess I'll go to McDonald's. They're on property. I can get there pretty quick. Especially if I'm in Animal Kingdom. But yeah, I guess that they're in a steamed bun, and look like a bao bun. I think that's more interesting than it's a McDonald's cheeseburger.
Yeah, I feel so. I mean, for me, growing up, and I mean, I would ride my bike to McDonald's and pay to get cheeseburgers with like pennies and like quarters and stuff. So I have a special place in my heart. I definitely don't eat McDonald's as much anymore, which is a good thing right now. Um, but I think that's a little part of it, is that nostalgia. Like, wow, this tastes like a McDonald's hamburger, and you kind of have that nostalgia that surrounds McDonald's. So I get it. They're not. I think they're great. I think they're amazing, but they're not like one of those like must-have items that are like knock your socks off amazing. But I definitely thought they were very cool. I've tried to recreate them at home before. That's something that I've done, and I just don't know how to steam buns. I guess that's my biggest issue with making those. But it's very cool. And I'll give you a hint, all you foodies out there. The thing that really makes them taste like a McDonald's hamburger, because when I did it, I followed the recipe that people have made. I actually followed the recipe that they have an episode of this that Tim Tracker did. Tim Tracker made an episode of making these hamburger pods. But the big secret to making this taste like a McDonald's hamburger is mustard. What you want to do is you want to add the mustard in with the meat and cook that a little bit. That's what I did, and I feel like that's kind of what they do. But what you don't do is you don't also add ketchup. What you want to do is you want to dip it in ketchup and then eat it, because the beef and the mustard, I think that's kind of what makes it taste a little bit more McDonald'sy. But I followed the recipe of how they usually do it, and it came out pretty close, other than the bun falling apart. So
So besides the cheeseburger pods, back to the create your own bowl. We actually did these. As I was saying, my daughter got one and my wife and I split one, and for lunch it was plenty of food. And they were amazing. Like amazing. Like I couldn't believe how good it was with the expectations I had coming in. Like I said, like, oh, I'm just creating something that they're gonna throw together for me. Big deal. But like it's good food. Like they prepare the protein and they prepare the grain and everything perfectly done. And when you mix it together, they're just delicious and tasty. So that is definitely a high point in the animal kingdom right now as far as food is. So the cheeseburger pods keep the kids happy, the bowls are keeping the parents happy. It's a great place to go for food. I don't know if I can say that more. But a couple of other places that I would go on our last trip, we went to the Polynesian and ate at Captain Cook's,
yeah.
which was really good. I got their meatballs, which comes in a rice, if I remember right. Those were incredible, like unbelievable. My kids were stealing them from me because they were just that good. My daughter, my daughter had a shrimp thing. Oh, gosh, I should look up the menu. But anyway, here I am back at the Polynesian. If you don't know, that's my favorite resort. So,
Hey.
hey, but I was really surprised at how good the food was there. So definitely go check that out, and don't be afraid to try what they have on the menu, because it is definitely Polynesian style food, and it's really, really good. So that, and it's hard to find a good place in Magic Kingdom as far as quick service goes. So we'll skip over that. But um, we spent a lot of time at Cosmic Rays, and while it's typical theme park food, it's done pretty good, and you can get in and out of there pretty well. So I don't mind going there. But I'm looking for something else whenever I'm there to instead. So that's kind of heavy on snacks. So Sleepy Hollow, that's the place to go. That's what I'm forgetting. Sleepy Hollow. Now this place, I didn't go there at first because I was always on the dining plan, and they don't take the dining plan there, which I found interesting. But definitely go there. They do waffles all day long. The last time we were there, I got a chicken and waffle that was really, really good. It was spicy, a little too spicy for me after a while because I ate the whole darn thing. But they also do a waffle with fresh strawberries and blueberries and Nutella chocolate spread, that hazelnut spread. Oh my goodness, that's a favorite in our family. that waffle. So that's a place definitely go check out. And the reason I started going Magic Kingdom is because I was focusing on Animal Kingdom, and I needed to get away from it. So I think I did it.
Cool. Yeah. There's lots of really good quick service, and I do enjoy quick service kind of with the reason that you can, there's a lot of them around there, and it's easy to kind of get in and easy to get out. So I do enjoy that. I usually try to have I've been doing this more lately, where I'll have one sit down restaurant at some point during the day, whether or not it's like something small or something that is like really big, like a really big experience, like something really exciting. But I usually try to do that, and then I try to do one type of either quick service or even like a little snack. And that's something else that we can talk about is park snacks. When I was talking to Brian about this, it's kind of hard to think about snacks, mainly because I don't really like I'll stop and get snacks, but it doesn't really like register in my mind too much when I get those, because it's not something that's like super big and like super important. You're just kind of like stopping and like grabbing a snack. Um, but I definitely have some stuff to talk about. Topping my list, it will always top my list forever and ever until the end of time. And that's the turkey leg. Love that turkey leg. It's super fun. I just love the way it tastes. I love smoked food in general. So that's always great. And I mean, turkey leg and popcorn, those were like really the only two that were coming to my mind. There's just something about Disney popcorn, and I love Disney popcorn buckets. I have to have Disney popcorn at least once when I go to Disney. And so I think this last time I disappeared on my brother and sister at one point and went left and got some popcorn, and they couldn't find me, and I was just in line trying to get some popcorn. But another thing that actually, Brian, when you were talking about Satuli Canteen, I would almost lump like drinks into snacks a little bit. And one that I really enjoyed when I was in Pandora were those boba tea drinks. Those are really good. And that's something when you're grabbing snacks and you're grabbing drinks and stuff like that. I think you can eat and walk and stuff like that now around the parks. You couldn't really do that when I was there, but we kind of ignored that a little bit. Shh, don't tell anybody. Especially when at Epcot, because how can you not walk around Epcot sipping a drink? But the rules back then were, as long as you're stationary, you can sip. So that made it a little easy. But I just loved being able to walk around Pandora with these tasty drinks and kind of look at everything. And that's something I love to do at Disney. It's just like grab something and walk around, like go to maybe the next ride you're about to be on, or even like I'll do queue popcorn, where like I'll grab a popcorn and then jump in a queue, and like that's your activity while you're in line, is you're just sitting there and you're chowing down on some popcorn. I actually thoroughly enjoy that. I love that. That's always a really great idea. So those are kind of my the ones that I enjoy. I'm not a huge Mickey premium bar guy. I know a lot of people really enjoy those Mickey premium bars, but I mean, I don't know, man. It's ice cream and dipped in chocolate.
It's delicious because it's Mickey shaped. It's delicious.
I
We
don't know.
have to get one every trip.
Yeah, I just always I pass on that. Not that like I've ever had it and I think it's bad. I just don't really see the appeal of it. Other than it being Mickey shaped. And I also I mean, I'm not a big dessert person. So Brian, you might be able to talk a little bit more about desserts. But I just see always on people's Instagrams these crazy desserts that Disney comes out with. But I just never, I don't know. I want to spend my money on other things like giant turkey legs. So yeah, I've just never really indulged in any of that.
And that's too bad, because my list is a mile long on snacks. So I know I've mentioned the Mickey pretzel on here numerous times, but I have to mention it one more time because that's my go-to snack. And luckily enough, the pool bar this time around had Mickey pretzels, so I had one like every other day because we were at the pool every other day. And I didn't have to worry about it when I was in the park. So that's my go-to, the Mickey pretzel. My kids, like I said, we have to get a Mickey premium bar every time we go, just one. And and we did. We took care of it. Um, what else am I forgetting? Well, the one place I wrote down was a new place for us on our last trip. We went to Dino Bite Snacks.
Mm.
So here's my chance to get my plug in for Dino Land USA. They have, I think it's Edie's ice cream there, and they make these giant cookies, and then they make a cookie sandwich with them. And when we were there, the flavor that they were doing was strawberry shortcake. So, strawberry ice, really good strawberry ice cream, and these like sugar cookies that had um, like strawberry flavoring to them, and or a shortbread cookie because it's strawberry shortcake.
Mhm.
Um, but they had, then they had the sugar on it, and like I had to share it with the whole family because it was huge. So Dino Bite Snacks, they have these giant, they always have something, and they'll change them seasonally. They'll have a special one, like I think for St. Patrick's Day, they had a mint one that was all leprechaun-y and whatever.
Mm.
So definitely something to check out when you're there. That's a great snack to pick up. But how about the cheeseburger egg rolls or spring rolls that they have in Adventureland? I mean, you got to get those.
Yeah, those were I kind of wanted to talk about those when we were talking about the cheeseburger pods. But I wanted to wait. And then I didn't mention them because I've had cheeseburger egg rolls not at Disney and loved them, but I've never had the ones at Disney and people go nuts about those. And this is another phenomenon that will happen where at Disney some sort of snack will just start to trend, and people will just go and buy them in droves, and then all of a sudden Disney will take it away and people will get sad. And what actually happened with the cheeseburger egg rolls is they have a stand. I don't know, does the stand have a name that
I
they
don't think it does.
Yeah, I think it's just like a random stand.
Yeah.
But they have that stand there that does the cheeseburger egg rolls, cheeseburger spring rolls. I keep saying this wrong because it's different. But they when they came back, I heard that they were different. Not that like the taste was different, but they were smaller. But they were also charging the same amount as they did before. So that kind of sucks. But Disney does this sometimes, and it kind of makes me think that maybe it's like a strategy, like a marketing strategy or something like that, to like get people excited about it and then take it away and then bring it back, kind of like Coca-Cola Classic or something like that they did back in the day.
Well, I think you're right, because they do that with merch. They'll put something out, but they'll only make so much of it and it'll disappear. And then you have to wait a month, and then they'll make too much of it and it'll just be all over the place. And I don't know if that is them not wanting to make too much and then just putting it out there and they see it go crazy, so then they have to overcompensate, or if it's like you said, a strategy where they know it's going to go crazy and then they create some FOMO on it, and then people are going crazy for it. These spring rolls have been very interesting to watch as a phenomenon. I had them for the first time on our last trip, and I'll tell you, the pepperoni ones, not so good. Cheeseburger ones, they come with it's an aioli of some sort, they call it.
Yeah.
Some people have likened it to a special sauce, like a Big Mac sauce or whatever, but I didn't really get that. So it was interesting because I think it was $7.50 for two of them when they first brought them back during the COVID times. They are now $9.50 for two spring rolls, and they're small.
Yeah.
And had I not had them before and wondered what all of the buzz was about, I would not have spent that. I just felt that's too much. But they were good. We really did enjoy the cheeseburger ones. Like I said, the pepperoni ones, they were fine. I saw recently they've got their buffalo chicken one out now, which I'd be more interested in. But they put that moldy cheese stuff in it, so I don't know. I don't think I could eat that. That's blue cheese.
I was trying to think of what you meant, and I eventually got there. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan, and I did have it once, somewhat recently, and it made me sick. So I'm against blue cheese now. So,
Wow.
but I would be interested in a buffalo chicken spring roll if they were able to take that out. You know, whatever. I will stop going on about snacks because, like I said, I could go on all day. The cupcake has been a big deal for them. That's been something that they kind of push out for every holiday and
Yeah.
every occasion. Trying to think of it seems like these whoopie pie things are starting to become a thing now too. I've seen the Wookie cookie, which is a version of the whoopie pie.
Yeah.
The carrot cake cookie is what started it. So I don't know, maybe keep an eye out on that one. That might be becoming something.
Yeah. And I can I enjoy this too. Like we can talk about food at Disney forever. And one thing that we kind of touched on for a second there with Brian was price. And if you noticed, we weren't really talking about price. And a lot of that comes down to the value of what Disney brings. And all these places, I mean, we're talking about the good places here. All these places will sometimes have some ridiculous prices for this food. But as long as you feel like the value is there and you think that it's going to be good enough. I mean, I'll complain about how expensive things are at Disney. But at the end of the day, I'm going to do it. I'm going to just take all my money for all this food and attractions and hotels. So yeah, at the end of the day, I'm totally down with it. And I would argue that there is great value in a lot of this stuff. But that's honestly, that's person to person. I really enjoy eating at a lot of these places. And I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, it's become kind of a big thing when I end up going to Disney. It's really important to get those dining reservations. There's a possibility that I'm going again this year at some point, and I'm already trying to figure out when I'm going to have to start making dining reservations because it's like kind of been it's become such an important thing to me. And I think that's just Disney in general. You once you start having to plan things in the way that Disney forces you to plan things, you start to get into planning those things and going to those attractions even more. So yeah, I really enjoy this stuff. I mean, we can talk at length about some of this stuff, which we've already done. So,
but it would be great to keep the conversation going if you guys could come out to Facebook on our community group and let us know what your favorite restaurant is, what your favorite sit down. Give us the rundown. If you didn't notice, we did favorite sit down, and then we went into our favorite quick service, and then we went over our favorite snack. So definitely come on out there, give us your 3. Let's hear what they are. We want to hear about it. Miles from Main Street community on Facebook.
And we tend to stay pretty positive here at Miles from Main Street. But if you want to rip into one of these places that you didn't like, let us know. And because we're always open to constructive criticism. But that's always fun too, is to I mean, Brian was ripping into me because I didn't like Mickey Premium bars. So keep it light, keep it fun, and we can have some fun over there in our community.
That'd be great if everyone could come out and join us. The other thing is we're very close to 300 followers on our page. So
Woo!
If you aren't following us yet, please do get us up to that 300 mark.
It's going to happen. We're going to do it in probably the next couple of days now. I'm excited. You should be excited too. And thank you for joining us tonight. But that's all we got for you guys, and we will see you next time on Miles from Main Street.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, please rate us on iTunes and subscribe. Email us at milesfrommainstreetpodcast@gmail.com with any thoughts, and visit us on Facebook under Miles from Main Street. We'll be bringing more to you weekly and look forward to talking to you then.
Until next week, remember,
some live close,
but most of us don't.
So let's talk about it.